Greetings, folks. Welcome back to the Jason Damico Show. It is so cool to be back, as always. And this guest is a friend, just a great person that I've had the honor of getting to know over the last few months. And our guest is a founder and CEO of U.S. marketing firm UG Strategies. He's graduated in 2000 from Rutgers University with a degree in English. And prior to this launching of UGS in 2003, he's worked in artist development and radio promotion at Sony Music Entertainment and college marketing at the Fader magazine. He's spoken at marketing and media conferences around the world, and he's been featured by major international media, including BBC World Business News, The Huffington Post, and others. Please welcome to the show.
Wow.
Mr. Parag.
Dude, checks in the mail,
Bhandari,
man. Nice work,
baby.
dude. That's great. Thanks, man.
Great to have you.
Yeah,
we
great
are
to be
we are
here,
all
brother.
posted up,
Oh, yeah.
wind up,
Feeling good.
feeling right, feeling good, and we're here, man.
That was one hell of a dinner, man. That really was.
So let's get into your beginning stages, because you've obviously done quite a bit of material over the years, spanning from marketing, spanning from development in the artist world and the music industry. How did it all start, man?
Wow. I grew up playing drums and playing in bands in New Jersey. Music has always been just sort of my Bible. So grew up as a drummer. And during college, I always refer to this as the best job in the world. I was a college rep for Sony Music, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
So prior to actually getting hired after college, it was basically like this awesome internship where we got to, promote, bands on Sony's main labels, which is Epic and Columbia, and just sort of getting into the basics of radio promotion, college marketing, street team marketing, all this stuff. This is like 98, 99, whatever. But just always wanted to be more consumed in the industry, and probably at that time was just trying to learn from my own music career and my own whatever, and trying to make contacts and all that stuff. Got a job working at Epic Records for a guy named Harvey Leeds, who you and I have talked about. Really just learning from him as far as the ins and outs of not just the record business, but specifically touring and artist development, which was the department that we were handling. So tour support, club marketing, shows, developing bands, putting them on the road for a year and a half before they ever went to something like radio. Stuff like that. Working with bands like Chevelle and Incubus and Good Charlotte and Pearl Jam to a degree. They were obviously, a developed band by then, but working with that type of genres, right? It was the best job of my life. Then went over to Fader magazine, did a lot of college marketing, and sort of gotten the first taste of like sponsorships and how artists could work with companies and brands that would make sense for them for tour support. Instead of having to pay that back to the record label, you just get behind some sort of lifestyle brand or something that makes sense for you and your art to help develop your career, right? And that's basically what UG Strategies is and has been. Started the company with this brand new airline called JetBlue that no one ever heard of. They had 2 cities, and our task for them was to partner them with a bunch of developing artists and DJs, and we ended up working with this amazing DJ producer conference called Winter Music Conference down in Miami. And I remember talking to like my older brother and all his DJ friends who got me into it, and who needed me to go get them flights to go down there. Frankly, love you, P. But he's like, there's this thing called Winter Music Conference down in Miami. And I'm like, all right, what's 4 days of just partying and hotels and DJs? And I'm like, yeah, sign me up. I'm this little punk drummer trying to be cool like my older brother and all his cool DJ friends, right? So if I can get them down there, then I'm in, right?
Yeah.
And that's what happened. We ended up putting together a showcase for JetBlue, and a whole bunch of awesome DJs and producers, guys like Tommy Sunshine, Steve Aoki, just old school guys who are just coming out, who are now superstars and still very humble and dear friends, and that's been the gist of it. And the company just continues working on artist development programs. I've continued my artist career because of it. A lot of the stuff that we've done with that company was producing festivals and concerts and all of that. And that's sort of our next phase coming out of the pandemic with Bull City Summit.
And that's a great segue to kind of get into that. Bull City Summit is this the debut year?
Yes, sir.
And let's talk a little bit about how that's developed. And it sounds like a similar partnering format, bringing brands, bringing technologies, and bringing entrepreneurship in. And I'll kind of digress for a second and say I really commend you for doing this, because I think the more
can't wait till it's over, but yeah, go ahead.
I think the more that artists in general, the artist community, musicians community, is able to team up with entrepreneurial pursuits and get that business savvy, whether it's direct or
artists
indirect.
Are like the greatest entrepreneurs. Think about it, right?
And that's exactly where I'm teeing it up for you to kind of to talk about it in conjunction to the summit. I just first want to say thank you for doing that, because
thank you.
We need more of it. We need more of it in the community.
Yeah. So through UGS, we came down in 2018 to start working on various festivals here in Raleigh, Durham, and then enter the pandemic, right? So everything gets shuts down. We were down in I was down in Miami. The rest of the team was either in New York or Durham. And just like I personally wanted to come back to Durham. Like when I was here for the first time, I fell in love with this town. I fell in love with this area. Sorry, Raleigh, Durham, but Durham. It was just it's an amazing town, amazing experience. I wanted to come back to the East Coast, having grown up in New Jersey. I was living in California at the time, so it was just perfect. And then adding all of the great things that Bull City Summit's going to highlight, but the reason for it is like this area has the most amazing live music. It has the most amazing tech, entrepreneur, life sciences, biosciences, biomedical industry. Mm-hmm. It's got just incredible food and culture. But for some reason, there hasn't been the big major festival for this area. You got Bonnaroo, but that's out in Tennessee. You've got Music Matters, not anymore, but Shaky Knees down in Atlanta, right? Mm-hmm. So, A, wanted to come back here and just kind of live here again, and then B, start a new business post-pandemic or continue the business post-pandemic in a new market. Kind of led us to Bull City Summit. Bull City Summit is a new music, art, technology, and science conference, which those four things, sums up Durham in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah.
So it's March 23 through 26. Very much your new music showcase festival, technology festival, but there's a proper headlining element to it as well.
Sure.
It's about showcasing the artists here in North Carolina and the Southeast, but then building a platform for them to actually advance their careers. Mm-hmm. So March 23 to 26, bullcitysummit.com. Right now, artists can go and submit.
There's application.
Yeah. It's free of charge. We don't charge for applications. We don't charge to participate, and we pay you. Imagine that, right?
Yeah.
If you're a showcasing artist, you get compensated financially. You get credentials. You're supposed to come and network and do your thing. and not come out of pocket for that, right?
Yeah.
So that's the sort of the models that we're trying to build.
That's awesome. That's great. And let me ask you this: as far as going back to the marketing thing, you go to school for English.
Yeah.
Where did the marketing aspect come into your career? Was there a knack? Was there an interest? Was it hey, I've got a talent at this, or people kind of come to me to be the marketing guy in the band? Like, how did that come about?
I think so. It was a little bit of everything. It was producing events and throwing events, and for lack of a better word, like throwing parties. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think what it was just getting lucky early on with that JetBlue relationship. And they were like, we want to put together an event at the Winter Music Conference with a bunch of developing artists that are coming from New York, right? They were promoting a New York to Fort Lauderdale route. So, we booked some really great artists that kind of spoke to the New York vibe. It worked. And then we just kept on doing it. I think, I don't know. I think it was the fact that they were growing really quickly with new cities and new routes. I remember doing a deal with Coachella, because they announced service to Los Angeles, and we just, did a ticket trade and had some artists fly out and play some parties with different sponsors or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was a timing. It was the need to, promote this new client with this new company. And I think like the marketing side of it, just kind of, everything that we did and still do is very artist friendly. Like, we're not going to throw a campaign at someone who doesn't want to be a part of it, right? It should be very organic and real. Oh, and also financially make sense. And that's easier said than done, but that's sort of how we try to approach it. So that the brand that's involved and the artists kind of grow together, as opposed to it being a pissing contest.
I'd love to pick your brain for a second. Maybe there's, we have a bunch of listeners that are in the industry, either trying to break in or they've been in it for a while, all different ages. And you obviously have a networking knack. Did it come naturally is the first question, which I think it probably did for you, number one. Number two, or part B, is what, in your terms, constitutes great networking skills, perhaps, maybe for the teenagers out there, or the younger folks.
Sure.
How to develop that.
Sure, yeah.
Because I feel like those are the soft skills that you just don't learn in high school or even in college.
Yeah.
And it's we started vibing immediately when we met.
The reason I'm going to say is because we're drummers. That's going to be the answer is
be a drummer.
Be a drummer.
That's the ultimate networking.
Pretty much it.
Yeah.
Because whatever. I mean, you're always you're always behind the scenes, but you're the most important part of the band. So it's like it's a nice little back and forth.
Common interest is a good place to start.
Common interest, humility, just being a part of the team, like all that stuff. You're right. Is that taught or whatever? Probably not. But it's I think, because I don't know how to answer that question. Mm-hmm. But I think it's like, just don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Just don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
And go out there, introduce yourself, network, have fun, drop some names, and then don't be an asshole and follow up. I think it was there. Timing's always part of it, and there's always this and that. But upcoming artists or musicians who are just trying to break through, especially with this pandemic, and you can't really go out there and do live stuff, is humility. Introduce yourself at a show or again, it's different now, right? But even if it's online or if it's social media or whatever, there's something to be said about messaging someone that you may respect, another artist, another producer, a promoter, anyone, frankly. I'm doing this right now with BCS. I'm hitting up a whole bunch of local, awesome curators and promoters and DJs or whatever, and just very casually introducing myself and saying, hey, I'm working on this. Would love to, collaborate. and then just let it go, right? A lot of times I think artists or people that are trying to network, it's just so mechanical, like
contrived.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. It's very contrived, and it doesn't have to be. And I think now, because you have so many other ways to promote yourself or expose your music or art, if you're just known as a humble, hardworking person, it's going to get you very far.
And patience.
Yeah,
it sounds like. Yeah, you gotta.
Sure.
Yeah, persevere.
Yeah, love it. Love what you do. That's the other thing.
Well,
you use the word persevere, and that's a very important word, but it also shouldn't. It's not necessarily. It is persevering. Don't get me wrong, but it should be fun.
Yeah,
it should be part of the experience, as opposed to a task or a chore.
That's key. That's really good.
And if it is, then maybe it's not the right thing for you.
Right. I'd love to talk about guerrilla marketing for a second. I thought that was a really interesting bit that BBC covered a few years back.
Sure.
And grabbing attention, right? That's a big thing. I'd love to talk about it in terms of social media.
Sure.
And what you've seen over the years. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a compare and contrast from prior campaigns with bands that have made it, bands that haven't made it. You've been around it now for over a decade plus from the artist development side. What are your thoughts on this? Like, social media grabbing attention.
I think of a band, OK Go, maybe like 7 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, whatever. Great band. And, was playing like the early festival touring circuit for a while. But they actually started to really, really break with their like incredible videos that would just go viral on social media. Mm-hmm. Not everyone can do that, but it worked, right? It was, great songs, don't get me wrong, but like also some of the stuff they did with their videos and their art and their creativity that translated to social media just got their name out there more and more and more to discover how great of a band they are. It's not going to happen for everyone. I think that like you don't have to go do a stunt everywhere. Like we did this guerrilla marketing stunt for Family Guy, right? That got us on BBC. Like that, that's something that's instantaneously recognizable and funny and hilarious. We took a Darth Stewie balloon, a 45-foot Darth Stewie balloon, and we brought it to Art Basel. Like the most pretentious event you could think of, and we bring a Darth Stewie balloon to there, and it was awesome. But not every band can or should. Again, that wasn't a band. That was just a marketing thing for a film or a TV show.
Right.
But bands do that all the time, or artists do that all the time, whatever. And it's not something that. I know some of your listeners or up-and-coming artists or whatever are probably thinking, man, I got to go do something cool and crazy on social media just to get noticed. No, you don't, actually. You really don't. Just social media should be a reflection of reality, not the other way around, right? So if you're a cool band doing some cool touring in your market, again, COVID aside, whatever.
Document.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Document it. Social media is your new website 3.0 thing where you can have, that's not web 3.0, but you know what I mean? You can have a more engaging, online presence with social media, because it shouldn't be this like alter ego, right? Yeah. It shouldn't just be something, it should be very natural and real. I use that OK Go example because it was natural and real. It was fun, goofy, amazing video work that showcases music that's very kind of similar. So whatever you do online or social, just make it authentic. Make sure it's like something that you would be like, yeah, that's me. Right.
For sure. It's great. Speaking of the pandemic, some thoughts on that, pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, post-pandemic for artists, what now? In your mind, in your eyes, what now?
Wait. I don't think there's this whole new virtual metaverse thing that's going to replace the basic necessity of live music.
I don't think so either.
That's never, ever going to happen.
I don't think so either.
No matter how cool it gets, because it's going to be cool as stuff, but it's going to,
This is uncensored. You can say whatever you want.
Great, cool as fuck. And
there you go.
Fuck. No. I think, or I hope at least, live music needs to return to the way it was, and you can dissect that as much as you want, and that can take as long as you want it to take, but it will happen, right? This pandemic's not going to last forever, but it will last a long time. And then what happens when that happens? There's some sort of hybrid situation with technology and live streaming and this and this and that. All that's well and good. And just like everything else, like even with like the MP3 and all, it's going to actually lead to better things for artists. It's just a really shitty time.
Yeah.
That's what it is right now. And I think when artists are about to go back on the road and not have to worry about these like new shutdowns that we're having, which is probably a year away, at least. Not at least, but probably a year away.
Yeah.
What happens then? Now you're touring, but you've got all these cool little, tech things that are helping, whether it's live streaming or God knows what happens by then. That's going to be good, but I don't know if I think there's going to be like a proving period. There's going to be some time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Now you've talked about making NC kind of like the next, or Durham, the next Austin.
Yeah, it already is. I'm just jumping on a bandwagon here. Yeah, Durham is, very much the next Austin. You've got, forget about just the sheer culture and music and all that stuff, but just the amount of investment from business and tech and everything else that's coming here.
Yeah.
Apple's spending $1 billion to build a campus.
That's right.
Here.
Yeah, that's right.
You got Google and Facebook and Meta, and everyone's coming here. And then you see what's going on with Texas in general. Mm-hmm. And then Durham, which is like a very progressive city.
We talk about Moogfest, because that was quite a success from what I've read and what we've talked about.
Yeah.
And are we going to expect that again at some point?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Moogfest is done. We are just essentially launching new properties coming off that production.
Okay.
Yeah. So Bull City Summit, Durham Summer Wine and Food Festival, which we launched a pilot version of that in July of last year. That's going to be returned in September of next year, which is all the stuff that we wanted to do when we were doing Moogfest. We wanted to, put together other events here in the city. I think we were always was trying to do a showcase type of event like Bull City Summit. Moogfest was more like a hopscotch. It's like you book a bunch of bands and you push it out, as opposed to like showcasing and applications and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then starting some other stuff like the Wine and Food Festival. So yeah, no, I'm actually excited about that. About doing that. There's a festival that a buddy of mine, Kai, is doing called Slingshot, which is definitely more of like a new Moogfest electronic thing. He actually used to be the former producer for Moogfest as well.
Oh, cool.
So
cool.
A lot of stuff I think is going to come back into this town, but the pandemic certainly slowed some of that stuff down, and what was supposed to be a rebuilding year in 2021 is going to be in 2022.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Now you were into DJing at one point.
Oh yeah.
Correct. Still maybe dabble a little bit, but what was that like?
I'm a drummer, dude.
Yeah. doing some. I think it was up in New York City, right?
Yep.
Kind of doing that scene, and I'm sure there's a couple of stories.
There's a lot of stories.
Like I do a fun thing on this show, the best and worst gig experience. And if there's anything that does come to mind, you don't have to say any names if you don't want to for the worst.
Oh, no. I'm happy to if I can remember. No. Okay. So, yeah. So, the band that I was in for a good amount of years, 15 years or so, a band called Figo, we were like this hybrid punk electronic act. Put out music on Mute Records, but then on Ultra Records. You know what I mean? So it's like, industrial and kind of indie and shoegazy stuff, and then like straight up EDM, right? So we kind of like rode those two sort of worlds. We toured with Ladytron, The Faint, Marky Ramone, and all kinds of like indie dance and or punk bands. But then, toured a lot with like Steve Aoki and Diplo and a lot of, EDM and DJ acts, right?
Yeah.
So wait, you want the worst? You want the best
or worst? Yeah, whichever one you want to do first.
All right, best tour experience. Wow. Okay. Well, there's a lot of them. But
That's good.
One that was really good. Okay, so we're one of the DJs on there was this tour called Identity Festival. This is 2009. And it was like the first like electronic DJ touring festival, so like a Lollapalooza just for like electronic music.
Wow.
Headliners it's insane. I mean, it was like I think, it was like Crystal Method and Steve Aoki and Diplo and Skrillex and Disco Biscuits. And like, it was just, the lineup was insane. Steve Lawler, Avicii, it was ridiculous. We were, I think, we were on the Dim-Mak stage, Dim-Mak Records stage, Steve Aoki's label. I think we're like, whatever, like the third act on the third stage, you know what I mean? Like, whatever.
Hey, you're still there.
Yeah, no, it was cool. It was great. It was like summer camp. It was amazing. It was 11 11-week summer camp.
Jeez.
So we get to this is San Francisco Shoreline Amphitheater, and all the shows are like, you got your main stage, your second stage, and then your third like developing artist stage. We're on the third developing artist stage. Although one thing that was really cool about them is that they would take a lot of the smaller acts and put them on the main stage every now and then. Like we played the main stage in Pittsburgh, like right before Skrillex or something, which is pretty cool.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. So they were cool about that. Anyway, so San Francisco, we're playing the third stage. The other two stages weren't open yet, but they had doors, right? There was doors were like at 11 o'clock. And for some reason, the other two stages, I just think that they didn't have artists like booked at that time. But then there was something else that was wrong. Like there was clearly like there shouldn't have been only one stage with music, right?
Right.
So it was 11 o'clock in the morning. We're used to being like, hey, we're gonna play that 11 o'clock set, and then go back to the tour bus and basically do nothing all day long, while everyone else actually plays in front of people. So okay, cool. 11 o'clock, we start playing or whatever. We look at the field. There's no one there because it's 11 o'clock in the morning and it's our lives. Dude, like 1 minute, 2 minutes into like the first track that we played, 10,000 people?
Woo!
Maybe.
Where do they come from?
They were all the people that got in early.
Okay.
But there was no other music at any other stages. So they heard a bunch of idiots playing some music over there, and they all come over. It was amazing.
Wow.
Dude, and then for like an hour, we just raged. And then like all the other DJs, all the headlines, like Aoki and like Castlevania, they all came over to play with us at 11 o'clock in the morning. It was amazing.
That's so good.
It was cool as shit. I will always remember that.
All right, what's the worst?
The worst one. Wow. Okay.
I gotta say, I've heard a lot of these stories.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's definitely in the top 10, top 5, yeah.
Washington, D.C., 930 Club. opening up for the Presets, which was a band, which is amazing band. Very electro dance 2-piece, just incredible band. We were opening up for them and Cut Copy. Got into a fight. Not with them. But
physical or
oh yeah,
oh man,
yeah.
Okay,
it was one of those.
Okay,
Okay. It was started by someone in our band. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Sure.
I'm not gonna mention who or what.
Was this friendly fire or was this?
This was being who he is every single day.
Okay,
when we go on tour and he drinks a little too much.
Got it. Okay.
So he's just
got it.
Just talking shit and whatever, but like in such a playful way. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just whatever, but I guess he just rubbed some guys the wrong way. They were the local band. Ended up it was bad.
That's bad.
Yeah. And then we all jumped in, right? When we saw what was happening.
Oh my God.
Of course, you're not gonna let our boy get messed up.
It's like a bar fight.
Oh yeah, exactly what it was. It lasted for like 5 minutes, and then everyone just kind of ran away. But it was intense because the promoter saw it and like it wasn't obvious whose fault it was, right? But just the fact that we were involved in it, like it doesn't necessarily look good for us.
Guilty. What is it? Guilty by association.
Exactly.
God.
Yeah.
Man, you're just this is top 5 for both, dude.
Yeah. So 9:30 Club.
That's great.
Otherwise, fantastic experience.
I mean that pretty much hits all the main points that I wanted to. I wanted to talk about real quick, kind of some influences for you personally. Organic music, electronic music.
Sure.
And I don't say that disparagingly.
Yeah, no.
But there's a difference. There's a big So
grew up as a massive Allman Brothers fan. Like just in still am. It's a way of life for me. As a drummer, Butch Trucks and J-Mo. I play a lot more like Butch, but just that band and that drummer and those drummers just, it was and the other drummers, the other two that I think were really just influential on me was Butch Trucks. What's that guy's name? What's his name? Martin from Medeski, Martin and Wood.
I can Google it.
Just incredible. Billy Martin, thank you. Billy Martin from Medeski, Martin and Wood. And Trey Cool from Green Day.
Oh yeah,
like
Trey Cool's tight, man.
Yeah, those
real
three,
tight.
Yeah, those are the 3 drummers that I developed my sound around or whatever. But then started getting into electronic DJing and producing, like because of my older brother and this whole UG Strategies thing, and ended up putting out records on some pretty awesome labels and doing some cool touring and all that stuff, and while building the company at the same time, and now it's like, cool, let's just go do it all over again. Post-pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm playing drums multiple times a night now here in the area. It's great. It's really great. I'm psyched to link up with people like you to kind of just start the next chapter,
It's exciting, man.
Yeah.
Future plans for you. What are you thinking? I mean, we've kind of talked about this a little bit.
Definitely moving, like permanently moving here.
Right.
Bull City Summit for sure. Durham Summer. Start writing and recording some new music again. I
cool.
think. Maybe later on this year.
Yeah. So I have a section that we kind of do towards the end. It's called the Shootout.
Okay.
And what it is basically I say a word that's industry related to the guest, and you just fire the first word that comes back.
Okay.
And there's no right or wrong answer.
Sure.
Drums.
Butch.
EDM.
Tommy Sunshine.
Event.
Bonnaroo. I don't know why.
Marketing.
BBC.
Promotion.
Harvey Leeds.
Oh wow. I'm adding a
He'll
few.
like that, actually.
Yeah. I'm gonna add a few here.
Yeah.
Jersey.
Sal's Pizzeria.
I'm laughing because the last two are beer
Wicked Weed.
and pizza.
Nino's.
No,
I don't know. Nino's. That's the other one.
No, it's good.
Sal's
It's
Nino's.
good. Let me throw another one in. Durham.
Food Hall. Oh, no. Give me another one. Durham.
Durham.
Luno Grill.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And just shout out to your dog for being named Dwayne.
Dwayne.
I gotta
Dwayne.
say that because that's
Oh,
that's
you're a good
awesome.
man.
That's awesome.
Dwayne. Named after Dwayne Allman. He's actually not too far from here. He's probably about 5 minutes away.
Wow.
At this awesome dog farm boarding thing that I found, which he's having the blast, and I can't wait to pick him up. I'll pick him up Saturday morning. Take him to Eno River State Park for a hike. Yeah.
That's great. So I ask everybody this question, and this has been great, by the way.
Yeah,
thanks
too,
again
man.
for
It's
you
awesome.
know. If you could go back in time to your 15-year-old self, knowing what you know now, what would you tell him?
Play more drums. Play more drums. I should have played more drums during this whole time.
Wow. Yeah. It's good. That's good advice, man.
Yeah.
For anybody.
Yeah.
Drummer to drummer.
Even if you're not a drummer, play more drums.
Yeah. We will have everything in the description boxes for social media contact. Is there anything else that you want to add verbally if somebody's driving or at the gym or whatever?
Just,
for contact
Bull City
information?
Summit's all about promoting Southeast and North Carolina talent. And if you are serious about your career and networking and want to meet new people, check out bullcitysummit.com. Submit your registration. It's completely free. All accepted artists are not only provided with like a proper showcase in front of proper people, but get credentials and compensation. It's something that should be, a stepping stone as opposed to a moat. I don't know.
This has been great, man.
I wish moat was one of my answers for I wish there was something other than that would make me think of the word moat.
Castle.
Yeah, moat. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
Nothing. Just grateful for you and what you do, and glad we met and we're friends, and let's go.
You too.
It's on.
You too, man.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been listening and watching the Jason Damico show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and follow Parag's page. We'll have all that information down below, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.